Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. Today we have another experiment with you guys, and that is playing around with heavy industry items. So last week we talked about the update heavy industry and the update 1.199 for its free items and the DLC items, and today we're going to put some of these items to the test. And what I mean by that is some quick answers, like say, does the magnetic plate stick to the ground, voxels, how useful is the armor plating, and the thruster damage on the hydrogen thrusters, are they still the same or slightly different, as one of them is a little bit longer than the original one. Right, so those are the things we're going to test out today to see and experiment with and get some quick answers to. So the first things first, we want to know, does the magnetic plates stick to voxels or to the ground? And honestly, I believe the quickest answer is yes, it does, because it acts exactly like a landing gear. So to show you as an example, it does stick to the ground like so, as it's locked in onto my crane system. I'm gonna lift it up and start wiggling it around. So yeah, it's called magnetic plates, but it does act exactly like a landing gear, and it does stick to the ground. So that's a quick answer to that one, for those of you who are curious about it. And it works the same with the other one too, the free one. No big difference here. Again, they act like landing gears, so no big difference in terms of it having quote-unquote magnetism or whatever it's called onto the ground. So I'm completely stuck onto that ground here, and I can just wiggle. So yeah, that's one thing. So another thing I did want to put to test is how useful are these armor platings. For somebody like me, I usually make things out of light armor blocks, such as this one here. Rarely make it out of heavy armor blocks, because difference of material is significant. So here, a light armor block for large grid, for an example, is 25 steel plates. So for heavy armor blocks, you do need 150 steel plates and 50 metal grids just to make it. So it's a significant difference in resources. And the difference between the armor plates here is 5 versus 15 and 5 metal grids. So obviously you can kind of tell it's not going to stand up to like a full cube versus just a slab on the side, based on materials. But let's just see how long it can last versus a turret. I mean, the initial experiment that I was thinking, maybe we can use some weapons such as a rifle to do it, but it does take a lot of time to do that, and you're likely going to run into a turret first rather than a rifle when you're driving around, flying around for the most part. So might as well test it with some turrets. So for an example, if we get into this guy here and control it, we can shoot the blocks one at a time. So this one right in front of us is a heavy armor block here. The one on the side is a light armor block. So if we were to shoot this one, the light armor block first, how long it takes to bring it down, right? So let's just get that started, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Roughly 18. I might have pressed it a little too quickly at one point, but roughly around 18 shots. And with earlier testing with the rifle, the precision rifle, or the new rifle that I forget what it's called right now, that took about 35, 36 shots, so that's a significant difference. But what about the heavy armor one versus this turret? So I'm guessing around 30, maybe even more than that. So let's just see what it looks like. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so 30 still stands up pretty well. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Nope, accidentally pressed it and held it a little bit. So to 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Reloading. Five, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2. Wow. That took a little over 200 shots for a heavy armor block. I think it was about roughly 220. Sometimes when I press the Gatling, it shoots double or so. So counts a little off, but that was interesting. I would not expect the heavy armor block to be that much. I should have tested all other blocks, but that is just pretty much the control for the most part to see what the difference is. And yeah, 18 versus 220, that is pretty significant in terms of the shot itself. Alright, so it is now time to test out the armor plates. Are they worth putting in front of your rovers, ships, and things like that? The light armor one probably is not going to last more than 10, let's just say. Light armor, if it lasts more than 50 shots, I think it's worth it. Because most of your shots are going to come in barrages like that, and not single shots as I'm shooting them now. But as you saw, a light armor block, even like this one here, we held it and shot it, 18 goes by pretty quickly. But if we were to put, say, the heavy armor block here and shot that pretty much down, it will take a significant amount of shots just to get it down. And again, it's roughly 220 shots, as you see here, if you can count this fast. But it takes a significant amount of bullets just to take this thing down, which is pretty interesting. Something I've actually never experimented with. There we go. See, as you see, that took a significant amount of time just to get that done. Honestly, if you want to get a better test of the blocks here, we can potentially take a look at the half armor blocks. So we could do the half light armor block, which is 12 steel plates, and the heavy one takes 75 steel plates and 25 metal grit. Still a significant amount compared to this though. So maybe that might not be the best example. Let's see here. This takes 7. Let's see, and that takes a little more. So not a 1-to-1 ratio really when we talk about the plates versus the blocks itself, but we can always just give it a test run. So light armor block, light half armor block, it probably takes what, 9 if it's exactly half of the light armor block. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it takes 8. So it's one less than half of the full block. Interesting. Heavy armor probably gonna take a significant amount of time, but let's just give it a test. 1, 2, damn it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 51, 2, 3, 4, 5. 55 shots. So the half heavy armor takes 55 shots. That's a significant difference from a regular block. Huh. Interesting. Anyways, we are finally back at this. So the light armor block, the light armor plating versus the heavy armor plating. So is it kind of worth it to put these things on versus like a half block or so? I would say probably yes, because it's a lot slimmer in design. But how much protection will it really provide you? Probably not much. So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So 4 shots is all it takes for the light armor plating here. The heavy one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Alright, 11 shots. Okay, so 11 shots might be kind of useful when there's like a sweep going on, right? Maybe. But it looks like that kind of works out a little bit better, and it works out okay. If you need some protection, that might be it. but honestly, if you need the full protection, a full heavy armor block is definitely the way to go. If you want to go a little bit lighter, a half block will be decent, but again, that's about 55 shots versus 220. That's a big difference. So it looks like armor plating, yeah, they probably look cool, it adds for design, but they might not last as long as the full blocks and things like that, which makes a lot of sense. That's pretty much kind of common sense in that way too. But a heavy armor plating, I would probably stick that onto a rover or a ship if it gets under attacked in that sense. But let's move on with the thruster damage, because I'm very curious about that, as we've done this in the past before to kind of show us how much damage and how much blocks it breaks through. So let's just give it a test this time to compare it versus the Heavy Industries version of the hydrogen thruster. So what we're gonna do here is actually take all thrusters. So you have the hydrogen thrusters, large and small versions of them, and this is all small grid. And we're gonna do a thrust override all the way. I guess that's the max, and hit on. All right, so that's gonna take its time and blow up the blocks as it needs to, and we're gonna pretty much skim the top to see how far they kind of broke the blocks, right? So the large one usually takes some time to break everything. I don't know, it always does that for whatever reasons. But the small ones, as you see here, creates one block in length in front of it, so it's not like a lot of blocks around it. So we can skim the top here, and we'll see how many blocks it kind of broke the sides here. Alright, so it looks like the small grid small version broke the same amount in front of it. So the original thruster, as you see here, hits past 2 blocks. The new one hits past 2 blocks as well. So no difference there whatsoever, which I didn't think there would be. Alright, so the larger version, that's a bit of a difference here, because this one, the new version, the Heavy Industry version, it is actually 1 block longer or taller, but they are the same in width. So I want to kind of see what the difference is. So let's just kind of skim the top as we did with the other one, and we should be okay to do that from here. Alright, there we go. So as you see here, it is breaking a significant amount of blocks here. Let me just weld these guys up so we can kind of see a little bit better. Alright, so lengthwise, it broke 7 blocks, which is the original, and it's surrounding 3 for the most part, except for these for whatever reason. So this one here, it looks about the same, to be honest. I'm just gonna weld up a little bit here just to get a good count. And yeah, it really looks the same. Let's just see. It's starting from here, so it's a little bit different. It broke here, and it is 7 blocks as well. The only big difference is that this one broke the edge pieces here than it there, but that could have just been collateral from the outer piece of the wall. So yeah, there's no difference here. Although it's a little bit longer, it still broke only 7 in front of it, so no significant difference. I didn't think there would be, but had to just give it a try just in case if there was a bit of a change there. But of course, we can also take a look at the large grid version and get our thrusters on. Then go maximum and toggle on. And we'll wait and see what that's gonna look like. Alright, so I'm leaning towards the steel plates and it is slowly breaking. Which makes sense because this has a lot more steel plates than the small grid version. So the large grid version, same thing. The small versions here are the same in the sense that it's, you know, same 1 by 1 by 1 type of measurement. The large grid version is slightly different. You have 1 block in front of it, just like the small grid, same thing. So it should act the same, but I'm not sure. Alright, so I think it's nearly done. Not 100% how far it got, but let's take a look to see. So I think the small grid one, we can skim the top as we do with the other ones. And just skim it this way really quick. There we go. And the small grid one, we probably just gotta break the block in front. So let's see how that's looking like. Alright, here we go. So it looks like it is breaking 2 blocks in front, 2 cubes in front for the small version, which is mimics the same as we have had in the small grid version. So that's good to know. Same thing. This one should be 7 if it's the same as the small grid version. So we can just put this way, and that's gonna be 6 for now, unless it's still burning it down, which it might be, I believe. Well, I'm right in front of it. So no, actually it's not. It's just gonna burn down 6 for large grid, right? 6 here, yeah, 6 blocks. Interesting. And let's see here. The original should be the same. 6 blocks. Yep. So no difference in terms of heavy industry reskin versus the original hydrogen thrusters. So it burns the same amount. So, you know, interesting enough, they're all the same. Only the design kind of just brings it a block forward. So that was a simple test for these heavy industry items. I'm pretty sure there's other things we can test with heavy industry, especially we have like some beams and the pipes. So I don't know what the difference between a pipe and a conveyor to other than design. Maybe one shoots better than the other or takes damage one better than the other. We're gonna put that to the test another day. Alright, so I hope you guys did enjoy this experiment. If you did, hit that thumbs up, like the video. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel. Always feel free to drop a comment down below. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.